What does it take to get that promotion? Is it just about sucking up, or is there a secret formula to racing through those corporate levels? Is it rigged, or do you have a level of control over your own destiny? I'm Mike. I've got a background in business from pharma tech and consulting. I've held C-level roles in global organizations, and I have degrees in business, HR, and psychology. I'm here to help you navigate the corporate world, and today it's about getting that promotion. You know, the one that gets you the cool title and the extra money. Let's get stuck in. First up, what it takes to get promoted is going to depend on your current level and seniority. The more senior you are, the more the criteria for promotion change. So I'm going to structure this video, at it from an entry-level perspective first, and then add on as we get to the more senior promotions. Second, every corporation of any significant size is going to have some sort of job framework, some sort of competency matrix or skill framework that is in place to assess a person's readiness for promotion. These things are all just blocks of text with some sort of explanation of what is required of you at a given level. You should acquaint yourself with them, but as a general rule, as an HR guy, I'd say though that they're not the defining factor for whether or not you get promoted. Consider them the language that the company uses, but if you think they really mean something, you are sorely mistaken. You are not going to get promoted because you showed exceptional prowess in proactively managing stakeholders at a senior level through collaborative interaction and proactive initiation of core deliverables. These things are mostly word salads. The exception to this is when these frameworks have built-in measures of skills or specific KPI metrics, but I'll get to that. Third, some companies have guides as to how many years you're expected to be at a given level. 2 years for an entry role, 4 to 6 years for a senior promotion. Some companies regard these years as very hard lines, and some see them more as
guidelines, the natural rules.
But don't waste your mental energy on them. You can't control it anyway. Lastly, I've been doing this for 25 years. Some of the things I'm going to say are going to be harsh truths. Some of you might feel that some things seem exploitative on the part of the companies, and honestly, sometimes they are. But I'm going to ask you to think of it in this way. If you want to be the best American footballer, you should be able to handle the reality that is that someone is going to tackle you hard and even try to hurt you. In business and most companies, some things may not be fair, but they are often the reality. If you want to play, you need to put on the helmet. Or, as Kenny Rogers once said, you need to learn to play the game right. Hopefully you're enjoying this video. If you think I am hitting the numbers right and I am delivering value to you, then consider promoting me by clicking the subscribe button and leaving a like. Thanks a ton. In the beginning of your career, your first promotion is defined by one statement: do things right. The person that delivers whatever product or task at high quality and on time is getting promoted. The person with the most attention to detail, the individual with the focus on delivering on time and in the highest quality possible, is the one that's getting promoted. Keeping your head down and just delivering on spec and on time is the key. As a consultant, your slides are the cleanest and nicest with the fewest reviews. As a coder, your code is just better structured and it has fewer bugs and requires less review. As a copywriter, you just have fewer mistakes and you hit the target message the first time. People that do a good enough job are second in line. It's the perfectionist, the details person that gets promoted first. Hit the number. Not all jobs have a number. If you work as a payroll person, doing things right and on time is all you kind of can do. But if you're a recruiter, there's a target number of positions closed that you need to hit. As a consultant, you have a target of billable hours. If you're in customer service, you've got a response rate that is the number that counts. Not all jobs have a number, but if there is one, you'll know it and you have to hit it. Those two things, doing it right and hitting the number, are the biggest part of promotion at the entry level. But you can stack the deck a little bit more in your favor.
I want you to be nice.
Be nice. Be a nice person. Sucking up or relationship management isn't important yet. Being a pushover is also not what I'm saying, but being reasonably likable will give you a leg up. Being the difficult, arrogant, or actively antisocial person, whether you like it or not, is usually a drawback. You can be as introverted as you like, but if you regularly bite the head off of your colleagues, then you're going to the back of the line unless you're a once-in-a-millennium genius.
Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks.
Put in extra effort. If you're a consultant and you've had 40 billable hours on average all year round, and your colleague has had 40 billable hours plus 20 internal hours, colleague B, all other things being equal, is getting the promotion before you. That's just a fact. People who work more are likely to get promoted faster. And yes, there are companies that just don't promote you and leech off of your effort. You need to quit those companies and go to one that is willing to promote you. It's not more complicated than that. The next promotions are your early to mid-career promotions. It's going from regular contributor to some sort of senior titled role. It's the developer to the senior developer. It's the finance controller to the senior finance controller. That's the kind of job you're looking for. What does it take there? Again, hit the number. If there's a number, you have to hit it. The more senior you get, the more likely there are to be more numbers. Hit them all ideally, but at a minimum, hit the most important numbers. As a consultant, the more you rise up, the less it's about billable hours and the more it's about sales. In finance, you better be hitting your month-end close on time, otherwise you have a problem. Then there's a shift. Going from this level is no longer just about doing things right.
This is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
It's about doing right things. A lot of people fail to make the transition from doing things right to doing right things. Attention to detail is still important. Doing a task well is still important. But usually your promotion hinges on you becoming some level of expert in something. And an expert can, as an example, teach others. An expert can spot problems. An expert can prioritize between tasks. Doing right things is about having a mountain of issues and figuring out which one is the most important one to deal with. It's about, on a responsibility level, not just mindlessly completing the task, but choosing the right task to complete first. It's prioritization, it's problem solving, it's having the right focus. If you stay stuck in the mode of I do everything right, then you haven't changed and you're going to get passed over. Speak up and be proactive. Now, this is connected to doing right things. If you see a problem within your area, you have to flag it. You anticipate things and come up with solutions. If you're just saying this is a bad solution, it's not going to work, that's not being proactive. But it is about going to your boss and pointing out an issue and offering to solve it. It demonstrates that you understand the subject matter like an expert would. What you're demonstrating is you're thinking outside of the narrow confines of your job description. At this stage in your career, if you're saying that that's not my responsibility, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. Again, this doesn't mean you should be doing other people's work, but it does mean that you shouldn't be thinking of your job as an isolated island where tasks land from a mysterious plane in the sky and you just push the completed task onto a raft when you're done with whatever you do, and then you stay on the island. Make friends. It doesn't matter if you're a controller, a brand manager, or a business partner. You're not working in a bubble. You are not just talking with your boss about work-related stuff. You are working with more people. If you can't build reasonably good relationships with the people that you're working with, you're not getting promoted. Again, it's not about sucking up. It's because no matter the job, increasing seniority inevitably entails working with others to get things done. If other people feel you're difficult, you're not getting the promotion. You being smarter than everybody else and even telling them is getting you nowhere, with the exception being the once-in-a-millennium genius. And honestly, that's probably not you. So that's it for the next promotion. Do right things, be proactive, make friends, and hit the numbers. And now we've got the next promotions. Here's the bad news. You've had 2 promotions. From here on, in almost any company, you are no longer fully in control of your promotion because a new parameter is going to get put into the mix. It's called business need. Believe it or not, if you're a good consultant and you're hitting the numbers, you're getting promoted. There's always room for a senior consultant. But getting to partner, you're only making partner if the business needs your business. You're not getting a leadership role if there's no leadership role open in an industry business. You're not becoming a subject matter expert if the company has all the subject matter experts they need. But assuming there is a business need, what do you need to be doing?
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
I'm a Mexican.
Good.
You have to have a can-do attitude. I'm sorry to break it to you. Very few companies want a manager of teams whose starting point is, I don't have time, or that's not my responsibility, or that's outside of my scope. This, again, isn't about being a sucker that just lets other people unload their work on your desk. But it is about being perceived as a person that is flexible, willing to put in effort, and being a person that is seen as part of bigger solutions.
What are you talking about? Everybody loves Joseph.
I don't. I hate Joseph. Okay, I think he's a brown-nosing suck-up.
Make friends and be respected. We're not quite at the networking stage, but you do want people in the organization that actively support and root for you. Your boss alone no longer calls the shots. Your boss's boss needs to know you exist and needs to know what you're good at. People who you work with need to see you as really good at what you do and need to respect you. Because if they respect you, then they'll believe that the people that might be reporting to you will come to respect you as well.
Sometimes the leadership is actually looking for different skill sets. Sometimes being good at your job doesn't mean you're actually necessarily good at leading other people to do their jobs. And sometimes you don't have to be the best at something to be good at leading other people to do it. So sometimes we're looking at people who are, they're not the top players, they're not the best at their jobs, but maybe leadership sees something in them, which is why they want to put them in a leadership position.
You don't necessarily have to be drinking coffee with random people in the organization, but there is a circle around you and your boss where you're not just good, but seen as respected. You're also seen as vertically flexible. And I don't have a better term for it, but basically you're seen as a person that is capable of going into the details, but also capable of not necessarily having strategic vision, but being able to see a task or a challenge from a broader perspective. You show that you can get your head above the grass and see most of the field, and you're able to communicate on both levels as well. With the details people, you can speak their language. And with the people above you who are more in the clouds, you can speak about the stuff you do and the detail people do in a way and in a language that they understand. 2 more levels of promotion. You're now a manager of some sort, usually with a responsibility for an area which is within your direct expertise. What's above you? Well, it's usually responsibility for more people, more areas of expertise, or the same areas of expertise, but across more business areas. So you're going from manager of country sales to regional sales. You're going from head of accounts payable to head of accounting. You might be going to a senior director or VP position, and it's quite possible that you have more than one layer below you in your next role. So you're becoming potentially a manager of managers. Business need, again, massively defines whether or not you're getting promoted. No business need, no promotion. Also, organizational structure and organizational size will limit you here. A small company that only has local sales doesn't need a regional sales lead. A small finance team might not need a head of all accounting because the CFO is doing that himself. Again, you have to hit the numbers and you have to exceed the numbers. The numbers are everything. It's more important here than ever before. The difference is though, here there are definitely numbers and there are a lot of them, and you should ideally be hitting all of them.
Oh, see, you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win.
You also want to make a difference. On top of hitting the numbers, your team needs to be seen as the one that is impactful on business results. You're hitting the numbers, but everybody kind of knows that under that is the fact that it's your team that's really making a difference, and it's because of you. The success of the team needs to be linked to you. You need to be an average manager or better. I'm sorry to say, you don't need to be loved by your team. Ideally, you shouldn't be overtly psychopathic.
They're completely unqualified for everything that they're doing, but they're really good at managing up, they're really good at faking it, and eventually that'll collapse and they'll get found out.
And yes, this is why narcissists and psychopaths sometimes get far. They are good at hiding their worst sides. If you're actively destroying a team and have all sorts of harassment issues, then you're in trouble. But if you've just got a middle to average management rating and a middle to average feedback as a manager, but are knocking out of the park numbers-wise, then you're on track for promotion. By now, you have to be actively networking. If you aren't, you need to get started. You are not getting to vice president if you have people that have a thorn in your side. If you've stepped on some senior vice president's toes at some point, your path to VP is infinitely harder. The people that matter are now much more people above you than to your side or below you. From a business perspective, this makes sense. You're so high up that you're no longer an island and your team isn't an island. Nobody wants to work with somebody who is perceived as a pain. So having these strong relationships and strong supporters from people who trust you and can see how you can make them look good is important. The cynical of you will say this is sucking up an office politics, and it is a little. And yes, some people game this and get very far by just having the relationships. But believe it or not, a lot of the people that get past this point do both. They've got the relationships, but they've also actively built on results. Last step, you want to be an executive, senior vice president, CFO, something like that. You need to be associated with good things. You are not becoming executive vice president of product development if your name is associated with the worst product launch in the history of the company. In your time as VP, you learned one of two things. You learned either to flag and communicate when ideas, plans, or projects were doomed to end badly, or you learned to avoid getting involved too directly in disasters and actively ensured you were distanced from the disasters in terms of perception. At this level, to get promoted above this level, to get promoted to executive or senior vice president, you need to have that project, that achievement that people talk about. You fixed a dysfunctional team. You got an off-the-rails program back on track. Your team brought in the biggest client ever. You need that big win, or more of them, that everybody respects.
Well, I wish I were here with better news. The fact is that you and I are sitting here today because this will be your last week of employment at this company.
If you're a VP crying about firing staff, you're getting nowhere. If you can build a business case with clear reasoning for why your team should be exempted, that's fine. But at this level, you're beyond the point where you feel sorry for yourself or your team. And also, you have no issue with making difficult decisions. That's in terms of firing people and shutting down passion projects. What you want to achieve is being perceived as a person that, again, can think big outside of their own field of responsibility and make decisions that are best for the business. You need to have people that hit the numbers and are talents. At the level below, being an average manager is actually okay. At this level, though, people need to know that you have great people on your team because stars attract stars. Yours is the team people want to work on. Yours is the team that has the company's best 3 salespeople. Having those stars gives you credibility, and of course, you're hitting the numbers. You also need to be multidimensional, and that's a little bit of a fluffy term, but being multidimensional means you're known for thinking about things from more than one angle. The most senior legal counsel in the business is not just telling you what's legal and what isn't. The most senior legal counsel can talk about business, business need, and business risk. The most senior HR person understands finance and business metrics and builds it into their reasoning. A one-dimensional VP stays a VP. The VP that puts it all into perspective, or shows at least that they are capable of it, get to the next level. The last part is being an influencer. Until now, you've built relationships for these reasons. You needed other people to respect you and like you. You needed other people's support. You needed to be seen as helping them look good. Basically, it was about other people. But now, you need to be seen as influencing strategy. You are one that other people come to, and you actively have been involved in shaping opinions that affect business direction. It's the difference between having put together a strategy deck that other people discuss on the one hand, and on the other, having talked through the direction with other people and actively gotten them to buy into your position on something strategic. That's how you get promoted. People will tell you to document your successes. And sure, that's fine, it's true, but it's not what gets you promoted. Asking for feedback doesn't get you promoted. It just demonstrates interest. Having a conversation with your manager puts your desire in their head. But it's the things I've said here that actually get you the promotion. I worried a little bit about doing this video because the cynics are definitely going to watch it and think that relationships and network and perception is what it's all about. But it's not. It's incredibly important though. You need to hit those numbers. And then as you move up, it's about being respected and trusted and yes, being known. Businesses are collaborative.
What I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
The higher up you get, Smart only gets you so far because you're not an island, and for the most part, all the ingredients need to be in place. If not, the business won't benefit. And also, how do you think a VP gets a job as an SVP in another company? They get it because they're known in their little industry as good. They're associated with successes, not failures. And they have relationships within the industry of people that speak positively of them. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the most common questions asked in an interview for an executive position at any company is some variant of, have you worked with this person over at that company? They speak highly of you. Again, it's relationships, it's results, and that's it. Now that's it. Before you go, share your thoughts in the comments. How did you get promoted? What would your advice be? Leave a like and also consider subscribing. See you soon.